Morning folks, you join me in Leicestershire today. Beautiful February morning, 7.5 degrees, bit of a gusty wind from the west, and I'm heading north. So what today's all about, you're actually joining me on what's called the Rutland TT. Simon Weir, some of you the British bikers will know his name. He's the editor, I think, of Motorcycle News, and he's published the classic book on biking in Britain, Bikers Britain it's called, with a lot of rides all over the country, showing off our beautiful landscape. So this is my first, I bought the book a couple of days ago when I was down in Oxford, and today I guess is for me isn't just about doing the my first, let's say, quote tour unquote, but it's a culmination. I've now owned the bike just over 3 months, and if you followed my story during that time, you'll have understood I've been learning the bike, I've been learning how to maintain it, I've been learning about the kit. I've taken my first 3 advanced motorcyclist training sessions, and many of you will have seen the videos on those. Okay, so as well as that, been learning how to put video together, modified my helmet, put in some improved speakers in, and as well as that, the latest challenge over the last few days was actually trying to work out how to translate the route from Bikers Britain onto my sat-nav. So today is the culmination of a lot of hard work. It's been a lot of fun. Sometimes it's been a bit frustrating along the way, but today's the culmination. So today will be the longest ride I've ever done. I've picked deliberately a reasonable day in terms of weather conditions, and I'm setting off at a reasonably quiet part of the day as well, but it's a test. So a number of things I'm looking to achieve today. What are my objectives? So if you followed my last practice ride for the IAM, then you'll know that at the moment I'm currently working on speed control. I think that's what they call acceleration sense. So this is trying to maintain the speed limit where you can, where it's safe to do so, but with particular focus on the transitions when you're accelerating out of a, let's say, a 30 zone, coming out of, say, a small village or a town into a national speed limit of 60, and hitting that you know, as quickly as you can, really, without standing the bike up on one wheel. And then also the other transition then is coming into, let's say, from a 50, as I'm into now, into a village situation, and transitioning down to the 30, whilst all the time giving information to the follower behind me. So at the moment I've got a BMW behind me with one headlight. Okay, so that's part of that, and also my positioning as well. So this is a very twisty road, beautiful road apparently, not too difficult maybe in the scheme of things, but I need to keep my wits about me, because I would say at least 75% of the route today, probably 80%, are roads I've never used before. So I'm very much in the hands of the sat-nav. So again, the test is with the sat-nav. I've programmed the sat-nav, and the process for that, I didn't actually really know how to do it, so I've watched a couple of videos. I also just put a little footnote on here that my cyber biking mates on Ridercam TV have also promised to produce a video, because they're real experts on this. They're both tour guides, and what they don't know about sat-navs isn't worth knowing. So they're going to produce the sort of, let's say, I'm hoping a really good guide on that. If you don't follow those guys, by the way, then I do recommend a follow. They've been really helpful to me. They're very responsive, Toby and Mark. So give them a listen on Ridercam TV. I was fortunate enough over Christmas to actually win their prize as well, so I got a nice little kit for knock-off kit for cleaning the visor as well. So a big shout out to Toby and Mark. Thank you very much for that. Belated thanks for that. Very much appreciated, and your friendship, encouragement and support's very much appreciated as well. But anyway, back to the point. Yeah, so I've actually had okay, so I've had a go at programming this route in, and we'll see how we do. So you can see we're following the 6047 today. We're heading to a place called Melton Mowbray, famous for its pork pies. So we've left I haven't shown you the first part of the ride. I wanted to get a little bit of a few miles under my belt first of all, but we've left Market Harborough behind us. That's, if you will, the sort of start point for me. And then we head up towards Melton Mowbray, then up towards Grantham into the north. We get into the sort of the Lincolnshire, just the edge of Lincolnshire there. Famous during World War II for the Homer sort of bomber command, the dam busters and so forth. And then back down south again, where we're going to skirt Rutland Water, which is an artificial lake, a reservoir, beautiful, in Rutland, smallest historic county of Rutland. Okay, and then back to Market Harborough. So the whole round trip's about 100 miles. So anyway, so my process for loading up the sat-nav was first of all to go on to Google My Maps and trace the route out on My Maps, and then you can export it as something called a KML file. You then open, if you've got a Garmin sat-nav like I have, okay, so I've got the Garmin sat-nav 6, and you plug that into your machine with your USB cable. You load up Basecamp, which is the proprietary software that Garmin use. Oh, this looks fun, doesn't it? Woo! Like a Big Dipper. Enjoyed that. Yeah, and then you then import that KML file, and then through a bit of jiggery pokery and pressing various buttons, it then translates into a Garmin route, which is then exported out to your sat nav. So that's what I've done today. So this is a bit of a test, really. Now, if this works, if today works, it's a bit of a trial, then I'll make my own video as well. But I'm probably recommend that you watch Toby and Mark's video first when that comes out, because I'm sure that'll be much better than mine. But anyway, there you go. Yeah, so today is the culmination of lots of stuff, really. It's all about my ability to try to put into practice what I've learned so far on IM. I wouldn't actually have dreamed of going on this ride unless I'd done those first 3 sessions of IM. I feel as though they've at least partly prepared me for this, but I know, and you know if you've been watching me, I'm certainly not the finished article yet. I've got a lot to learn, and what I find is that my habits, my practice, if you will, it's inconsistent. So, you know, I can do a really good sort of 20 minutes, and then I can have a sort of a, I wouldn't say a nightmare 5 minutes, but you know, I'm sort of making, you know, quite elementary mistakes, really. So I was out a couple of days ago and stalled the bike on a hill when I was trying to turn sharply to the left. So little things like that, really. So but anyway, lots to learn. Anyway, you can see around, it's beautiful landscape here as we enter the this sort of beautiful part of rural England. As I say, we're heading north towards Melton Mowbray. I think this leg is round about between Market Harborough and Melton Mowbray. It's round about 20 miles on the 6047, and the road's just like this all the way, really. So, and it's also famous, actually. You might, you know, if you read any of the British motorcycling press, like Bike Magazine or Motorcycle News, for example, then you probably know that the sort of home of those magazines is actually based in Peterborough, which is just off to the eastern side of this loop. So they tend to use this set of roads actually for the quite a lot of their sort of road testing and so forth. Just concentrate on my left-hander here. Yeah, so you actually may recognise some of these roads, and I'm sure they ride them a lot better than I do. I mean, look at these lovely curves. Yeah, so today there's going to be an at the end of today there's going to be an evaluation, really. So as I say, this is my first, I think, proper test, really. I mean, the last longest ride I did was 134 miles out to Cambridgeshire on my third observed ride. But in a funny kind of way, you're doing that by remote control, and you're not sort of riding naturally because you've got an observer following you who's actually telling you where to go. Now today, I'm having to do my own navigation. So I'm trying to pull literally everything together, but I know you can't think of everything, and for me that would be dangerous to do so. So I'm just particularly, as I say, trying to focus on acceleration sense, positioning for corners, and obviously the elementary basics of you know, safe stopping distance, and assuming everybody's trying to get me. Mustn't forget the basics. So that's what it's all about, and as I say, this is the the first sort of leg really. I think the only sort of towny bit of the route, the only urban part, is the where you somehow got to get yourself from the south of Melton Mowbray to the east side, so that's just, I think, 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes maybe, of getting through some of the smaller lanes. A factor today is actually going to be the increasing wind. I know, looking at the weather report, this westerly wind is going to be gusting up to 30 miles an hour shortly after lunchtime, at which stage I will be heading south, so that's going to be coming from my right hand side. But yeah, so it's just a question really of trying to enjoy the ride today, but at the same time really concentrating on just some of these technical points really. I've got to say the 6047 between Market Harbour and Melton Mowbray is certainly the best piece of most extended best bikers road that I've ridden so far since I've owned the bike. So a good chance here to practice my transitions, my acceleration sense. So we're coming from a 50 down into a 30, so I want to give information to White Van Man behind me. And as you cross the line, you've got to be doing 30 and you've got to try and maintain it, so I'll settle for that. And of course, if you're following me, you realise that the mistake I was making before that bit of learning was I was just using engine braking, because of course the engine is just a marvellous brake on the R1200RT, as I guess it is on the GS as well. And I think I went from one extreme to the other actually. I went from using all engine braking to using no engine braking, and again one of my commentators very I'm sure accurately pointed out the fact, well, why not use both actually. So what I'm tending to do now is to use the engine to brake, but also flicking the rear brake 2 or 3 times just to get the guys' attention behind me, because as I say, I've got White Van Man behind me at the moment. So again, the advice from my instructor on the last observe was, you know, when you come out of those 30 zones into a national speed limit, then use the power of the bike to actually put a bit of physical distance between you and the follower, which is what I've done now. So I've just opened up a little bit of a buffer behind me. So again, here we go again. Thorpe Satchville. Got some wonderful place names on this route. I think one of the disciplines I need to observe today is this is probably a 3-hour ride. I'm just trying to work out in my own head whether to have a stop every 1 hour or a stop every hour and a half, so we'll see how it goes. So again, just use the power of the bike to put a bit of space between me and White Van Man. He's really pushing in close behind me there. So again, I just adopted another tip, which was when somebody is in that position and you're in a sort of you know, maybe coming out to the edge of the village, you want to be in a very commanding position on the road. So if he wants to overtake you, you can't stop him, but make him really work hard for it. So don't be over to the left where he can just sort of crush you into the curb. So the GPS tells me there's a right-hander at the top of this crest. So I'm moving over to the left. There we are, there it is. What a magnificent road this is. So one of the other tests today is the mirrors actually. So we've done we fitted them on We did a brief test when they were fitted. I did a bit of a shakedown ride, and you've probably seen the video of that if you've been interested in that one. But today's a really extended ride, so I'm getting used to them actually now. I'm already habitually. I'm actually using them, and I'm just using the BM, the original RT mirrors, to actually just sort of fill in really. So now the pressure is, I've got nobody in front of me, so I've got nobody to sort of follow, if you follow me. So I've got to make my own decisions. Therefore I've got to be very disciplined about cornering positions and speeds. Quite a strong left wind coming from the west now, wanting to push me across to the other side of the road. Really feel that over this exposed part of the country. A tractor emerging from the left here, just keep an eye on him. And that wind disappears as we pass this clump of trees on the left. Well, one thing's for certain, I shall certainly be back on the A6047 again. And here we are in Melton Mowbray. So I know we're looking for a right turn up here somewhere. Yeah, Melton Mowbray, famous for pork pies. Probably the best pork pies in the world. Nice bit of chutney, bit of cheese, nice glass of beer. Sorted. Not today though. Crossing the river. Goes in the wrong lane there. Well, one thing's for certain with the mirror mod, because again I mentioned this ride brings a lot of things together, and this mirror mod, if you probably, I don't think you can make it out on the video, but as usual the RT mirrors on just a very sort of slightly damp surface. The left-hand mirror in particular just tends to clag up with dust and dirt, and I've got to say the new mirrors I fitted, the Wunderlichs, are absolutely perfect. Give a proper view. So for me there is absolutely no doubt at all that mirror mod, 126 quid and about half an hour of work. If you want to improve your rear visibility and you've got an RT, I can't see why you wouldn't want to do that really. They don't spoil the look of the bike, in fact I think they actually add to it, they complement the bike. And they certainly increase its functionality and visibility. Right, so now we're on the second leg. So the second leg is from Melton Mowbray up, we're going to start heading north towards Grantham. I think we're heading east at the moment. So this is all new territory for me. So the sat-nav has successfully navigated me across town in Melton Mowbray without too much ado. Christ, that yellow van cut that corner, eh? Might have been in the wrong position there. So just trying to consistently today divide the risks. I want to be in the right position on the road to maximise the view around the corner, but at the same time, if there are cars coming or if there's a junction in the wrong place, then I've got to divide that risk, divide the distance between the two risks. So here, I'm on the right hand side, white van back into the middle. Left hand side here, curb position. Maintain the curb position for the next right hander. Check the mirrors. So crown position now for the left hander. Motorbike crash site, that's an interesting sign, isn't it? Because that normally indicates it's a good biking route, but bikers have been taking chances. And it's interesting, my situation at the moment, because I'm following three heavy lorries. The road is not just twisting from left to right, but it's also up and down. And that means for me, my only opportunity to overtake is if I get a really good open straight stretch that's clear for probably a good half mile ahead. But I certainly shan't be taking any risks today. Home safe, eh? Now here's a mystery. I've got a new icon that's appeared on my sat-nav. You can see the grey circle with the curvy line around it and the red dot. Now I think that means skip the next waypoint, but I don't know. So again, any of you out there experienced Garmin users? What do you think? Tell you what, take your hat off to these lorry drivers. Look how close these guys are getting. Crossing the county border into Lincolnshire now. You can see as you come into Lincolnshire why this was the home of Bomber Command during World War II. Big open expanses, very flat. My father flew a Lancaster, just caught the end of the war actually, didn't see sort of conflict, but had trained with Pathfinder Force. And at some point we'll take a ride up to Coningsby where he was based. Crossing the A1.